Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Sam from Historic Travels, wishing all of you a good day. Now guys, over the past week or so, I have been getting a ton of messages from people wanting to know my thoughts about the current situation with the SS United States. For those of you that are unaware, the SS United States is one of the very last Golden Age ocean liners to still exist in the world today. It is one of two Golden Age ocean liners to exist within the United States, the other of which is the Queen Mary, located out in Long Beach, California. Now, the SS United States has been calling the city of Philadelphia home for the past couple of decades. However, not anymore. Due to a lack of funding, the ship was evicted from the pier that it was at, and it is currently being towed down to Alabama, where the ship is going to be basically cleaned out and eventually sunk to be turned into the world's largest artificial reef. So ultimately, what do I think of this? Well, to be frank, I am deeply saddened by this entire situation. I cannot believe it has come to this. The SS United States is a ship full of history, and the ship, for those of you that don't know, is actually the current holder of the Blue Ribbon. That's the unofficial award given to a ship that has the fastest crossing time of the Atlantic. The SS United States still holds that, all these decades since its retirement. That's insane. But it's such a beautiful and historic vessel, and I really wish she could have been preserved. At the very least, restored to the point where she could be a floating hotel like the Queen Mary is in Long Beach. But on that point, I do understand the financial difficulties that come from maintaining a historic ocean liner like this. It certainly isn't easy. Let's take a look at the Queen Mary as a prime example. Ever since the city of Long Beach bought the Queen Mary, they have had a heck of a time trying to maintain the ship and keep it operational as a hotel. They have leased the ship out to multiple companies over the years. I believe Disney even ran it for a while, and all of those companies bailed out because the costs of running the ship were simply too high. The city of Long Beach currently runs the ship, and I believe they're working with another company to manage it. But yeah, it's the city itself that is responsible for maintaining the Queen Mary and making sure that it's up to date, with all the repairs and so on. But even then, they have trouble maintaining the ship. However, unlike the Queen Mary, which still more or less resembles the ship that she once was back in the 60s when she was retired, the same can't be said for the SS United States. The SS United States resembles the ship that she once was externally only, and even then, the ship is in poor condition. If you take a look at the ship as she exists today, she is showing massive signs of disrepair and neglect. There is rust everywhere, the paint is coming off. The ship isn't in good condition. But if you think it's bad on the outside, wait till you see the inside. The inside of the SS United States, well, it's nothing like what it was back when the ship was in operation. The ship has been completely stripped down. All of her furnishings have been removed. All of the interior walling and everything has been stripped away, basically going all the way to the hull of the ship itself. And the reason why they had to do this was, well, number one, I believe they auctioned off a lot of the ship's internal stuff to try to generate some money to keep the ship and maintain it a little bit. But the other big reason was to try to remove a lot of hazardous material that was built into the ship itself during its construction, asbestos being a primary example of this. Now, the main reason why the SS United States had so much asbestos in it was due to the design decision of the ship's primary designer, William Francis Gibbs. And you see, Gibbs was terrified of fire at sea, especially after learning about the Morro Castle disaster that happened a few decades before the SS United States was built. But you see, he was so terrified of this that he wanted the SS United States to be as fireproof as possible. So everything he built inside the ship, he did it to make sure that it couldn't burn, hence the asbestos. I'm pretty sure he got into an argument with some people over putting a wooden piano on board the ship because he was afraid that the wood in the piano would start a fire, which, sure, wood can burn, but if the rest of the ship is fire resistant, then what danger would that pose? It generate a lot of smoke, sure, but it's not like the ship could catch fire. Any more information on that, I would appreciate it. But yeah, bottom line, this is why the ship had so much asbestos and why it was such a job cleaning the ship out after the United States was retired. However, despite all of these issues, structurally, the SS United States is in incredible condition, even after all of these decades of neglect. This really does go to show how much work went into building the ship and why I think it's such a tragedy that it's going to be sunk. But anyway, if you want proof that the SS United States is structurally in good condition. Just the fact alone that they are able to tow this ship in the Atlantic Ocean, which is where the SS United States currently is, just the fact that it can handle the rough seas and handle being pulled through the water like that and handle it just fine is a true testament to how well built the United States was and the incredible condition that the ship is still in structurally to this day. It is in way better condition in this regard than the Queen Mary is, because even though the Queen Mary looks a lot better than the SS United States, the ship's hull could not handle what the SS United States is going through right now. I don't even know if the Queen Mary's hull could handle being moved, around the Long Beach harbor, let alone taken out into the Pacific Ocean and, pulled through the ocean like the United States. And as I previously said, it is due to this reason that it is truly heartbreaking that nothing could have been done to save the ship. But this ultimately does raise the ultimate question as to why the SS United States couldn't be saved. I mean, the United States Conservancy is the company that currently owned the ship, or at least they did before they sold it, and they have done everything they could to try to save the ship. And before they bought it, the ship changed hands multiple times. And I think this is the ultimate reason why the SS United States is in the shape that it's in today and the position that it's in. And it's because the ship was never purchased by a city or state like what the Queen Mary was. The city of Long Beach bought the Queen Mary, so they were ultimately responsible for maintaining the vessel, and then they would lease it out to people to operate the ship. But the United States never had that. And despite how many efforts they made to try to get people to invest in the ship, as I previously stated, it's very hard to maintain a vessel like this, especially privately. They really did need, a city or state government to invest in protecting the ship and restoring the ship, that way they could get it to somewhat the condition of the Queen Mary, and operate as a hotel, a museum, or as I wish, get the ship to sail the ocean again. Believe it or not, Crystal Cruise Lines actually looked into buying the ship and restoring it and having it be a cruise ship, essentially. But they backed out because it was so cost prohibitive. This is what we've talked about, when it comes to maintaining an old ship like this. So that's ultimately what the SS United States needed and what it didn't get. It really needed a city, state, or maybe even the federal government of the United States to invest in the ship to save it. And honestly, they could if they wanted to. I mean, with all the crap we've been hearing about, all the waste that's been coming out of the federal government spending as of late, they definitely could have used some of that money to save the United States. And there I go, ranting about political stuff a little bit. Yeah, my bad. I shouldn't have done that. So yeah, ultimately, in conclusion, I really do wish the SS United States could have been saved, and I am deeply saddened by the fate that has come across this ship. I mean, silver lining, when they do eventually decide when they're going to sink the ship, I believe they're going to sink it off the coast of Destin, Florida. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But when they do decide when they're going to do it, I do plan to go out there and see it because I never saw the ship personally, and that's something that bugs me. And so I do want to see her before she's gone, and it would be really cool to see a Golden Age ocean liner, sink like this. I mean, that's literally a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So silver lining, I guess. But that's a very small thing, it would still make me very sad. As cool as it would be to watch this ship sink, it's still sad to see this ship with so much history and literally at the holder of the blue ribbon, the symbol of America's pride and all that. To see it sink like that and the fact that she couldn't be saved, I mean, it's still heartbreaking, it's still very sad. But who knows? I mean, maybe hope isn't completely lost for the ship. Maybe some rich person will step in and save the ship. Maybe the government, the federal government will step in and save the ship. Not holding my breath for that, but yeah, anyway, it's a sad end to the vessel, and I wish more could have been done, but in the end, it is what it is. I would like to take a moment to thank the USS, the United States Conservancy, for doing everything they could to take care of the vessel and try to save her, and thank you guys for everything you do. Oh, and I would also like to thank Tom Lynskey for providing some of the animations you saw in this video, as well as capturing a lot of those beautiful shots you saw of the ship in this video. Thanks so much, Tom. And with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Y'all take care.